LUKA Nation, you guys and gals are in for a treat. So we're recording this on the tail end of our 10 for 10 Women of the Hobby series. So we've had 10 amazing women, different backgrounds, different collecting styles, but all women who are doing amazing things in the space. And it closed out with the eclectic, the energetic Alex Jaimo. So I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's episode as much as we did. And now today we have a treat because we have Jeff Hoferer. I hope I pronounced that right.
Nailed it.
Marketing director at Panini. And Jeff and I actually knew each other before he started the role at Panini. You guys know him as Pat Geek on Instagram. And just a nice guy. I'll say that right from the bat. Really friendly. Always awesome to go kind of back and forth in DM. And I'm excited to kind of, peel back the curtains of, as Cage calls, the chocolate factory, right? What's going on at Panini? I know a lot of you guys are eager to know. Most of you guys buy their products.
I love you.
What?
The chocolate factory is what's behind like the gates at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. There's Oompa Loompas. The curtain is Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. But it's close. I mean, Wizard of Oz, like Willy Wonka, it's fine. Like they should make a movie where you combine the two of them, right? And
Cage,
like the Oompa Loompas and the Munchkins, they could be like friends. Like, it would be really awesome, actually. I think you might have stumbled onto something. Yes, I gave you a Wizard of Oz card because that's how we start our show, man. Instead of lions and tigers and bears, it's Lucas, tigers, and bronze. Now, let me just give Jeff some real credit and respect here. Because for 10 days, we've had some of the most interesting women in the world on our show, right? Women in the hobby, trying to give them, a platform to talk about what it is they're doing in their individual, breaking companies, and in what they're doing on their own. And Andrew has said a couple times during that, hey, Cage, it's been a while since we just got to talk to each other. I love these episodes, but when we're done with the 10 for 10, we got to give our fans, let's just chat. Let's just BS. And he calls me and he's like, hey, I want to get Jeff Pack Geek on. And I'm like, yeah, but you just want to, he goes, this will even be better. This will be better than our normal, like you and me bullshitting. Let's get Jeff on because he's working at Panini and he's been there for a couple months. And, he can give us, his collecting background and you name it. I said, oh, let's do it. It sounds awesome. So Jeff, listen, Andrew, there's very few things in the world he likes better than just talking to me. I don't know why, because I always say mean things to him. But
your mentor, friend.
He says, all right, we can put that on hold till tomorrow, Cage. We can wait. Let's get Jeff in and let's chat with Jeff and find out what's going on at Panini. So there you go. Can't be much better than that, man. We're all excited to have you. So let's see. What's the first question? If our audience was there, Andrew, if they were right here and they wanted to ask the first question of Jeff at Panini, what's going on? What would they ask him?
Well, first, say hello to the audience and what's been happening for the first 3 months.
That's not what they would ask, but go ahead. You could do that.
Yeah.
I was looking for something juicy.
My gosh, what an intro, guys. Thank you. And I am excited to be on the tail end of the 10 for 10. I was able to catch a couple of those episodes, and they were really great. And I think it's awesome how the hobby has grown, and the female hobbyist has really kind of carved out a really cool niche, and I love that. And good for you guys on supporting that. I was telling them earlier, I've been at Panini officially 3 months as of a couple of days ago, and it's been a wild ride so far. I'm filling in the place of kind of a hobby icon, Tracy Hackler. He'd been here for almost 12 years, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't mention Tracy while mentioning taking over this position. But that guy, he put out a wild volume of content, and I'm just trying to keep up with remotely close to the capacity that he had. And it's been fun. I mean, guys, I step over cases of cards to get to my desk every day. It's a dream job in many ways.
I mean, other than stepping over piles of recently heated and cooked Chick-fil-A sandwiches, I couldn't think of a better job, I mean, although I wouldn't step over them, I would just dive into them. But yeah, I mean, listen, think about that, guys. Think about, I've said it a couple times on our show, and I've been lucky to kind of start living it the last couple of years, thanks to Handsome over here. Not you, Jeff. You're handsome too, though. It's okay. But Disney, I mean, Walt Disney said it, right? You know, you find a job you love and you never work a day in your life, right? So who doesn't want to work with cards? Look at the Kobe behind you. Check it out on YouTube, guys. I mean, talk about like, you know, living out a dream, right? You know, when you're kids, you go into the baseball card store and you open in packs, and you know, you get to market this stuff. You know, you get to be right there at the epicenter of it, making the cards, you know, involved in the cards. I mean, it's got to be pretty awesome, right?
Cage, I know it's taboo, but I've always asked this, like the origin story, right? Like,
yeah, let's do it.
I came from banking. Cage is a lawyer. I'm curious, like, how did you find yourself at Panini? If you could share, you know, the Jeff Hoferer origin story.
Absolutely. So, been a lifelong collector, like many of your listeners, I'm sure. I have a background in content creation. So, once upon a time, I was an actor and a writer. I lived out in LA. That was all I did for a while. Then I moved over to kind of producing and writing, and then I moved into directing. This is kind of the evolution. And this whole time I was collecting cards. So naturally, I started creating video content around cards. And so back in 2010, I started a YouTube channel called Pack Geek, which I was just opening old packs and posting them so my friends could see them. I was a regular on a sports card forum, like many of us, and I would show people scans of the cards that I pulled from the pack, but you lose part of the magic there. We all know that, you know, opening unopened product is the most exciting aspect of our hobby, and it's a treasure hunt. Each pack you open is a little treasure hunt. So I thought I couldn't do it justice unless I'm actually doing this on video, like first person style, where people can essentially open the pack along with me. And so that's how the show started. If you go back to my YouTube channel, Pack Geek, you'll see 2010, the episodes, the production quality was horrendous. I had a camera on a tripod over my shoulder. It was out of focus almost 90% of the time. And I'm trying to do this. Obviously, I can't tell what's in focus or out of focus when I'm the one on camera, but that's how it started.
You were your own cameraman?
Yeah, it was literally just a tripod hitting record and then running around to the other side of the camera and doing that. This is before you could shoot something well on a smartphone. And it was a mess, Andrew.
Jeff,
it was
did you have like a monster hit and you went nuts, but you couldn't move the camera because it was on your shoulder?
Yeah, there's plenty of moments in the first, I think it was like 18 episodes that I did like this before I took a little break and came back with full blown production. But you can definitely see me getting excited, bumping into the camera with my shoulder, and then, you know, the shot is just toast. But yeah, so as I mentioned, 2010 did Pack Geek. Then I took a little break. I came back in 2017 and was like, I want to do this. My wife, of all people, was like, I think you should do Pack Geek again. And my wife works on camera, and she, you know, she's very cool about this, but she does not care about sports cards. So for her to say that meant a lot.
Not yet.
Not yet. Good point. She just needs to find her special blend of cards, I guess. 2017 started doing this with full production, 3 cameras set up, had a sound guy, had two shooters, and I just made the biggest stink out of this show that I possibly could. I wanted it to be TV quality, and you know, we achieved some fairly good quality. And then I met Tracy Hackler, the guy who had my position prior to me getting here. And he used to come on the show. He's a regular on the show, bringing new Panini products for us to see. And that's how Tracy and I's relationship started.
You're a huge Kobe fan, right?
I'm a Kobe fan. I wouldn't necessarily say huge, but you know, I'm in the Panini office. This is Kobe heaven around here. This is actually the broom closet. So this is. We have Kobe pictures everywhere.
He said he's stepping over boxes of product. What he meant was he's stepping over Kobe auto stickers. Because they're everywhere at Panini too. No, not anymore.
Oh man, there are not many Kobe autos left around here, if any. Because I've asked that question before, unfortunately.
So with yesterday we had Alex on, right? And we talked a little bit about how the content games changed, right? So if you were in content before, there was always kind of a middleman, right? A producer, a director. Now you go right to direct to consumer with your content, right?
Right.
So I'm curious, like you've been at Panini for 3 months. What's their content model look like? What I mean by that is, are you guys thinking of, hiring or finding talent and kind of creating your own podcast? Are you, a little bit behind the scenes, kind of like the Office vibe, creating a show out of Panini? How are you guys thinking about content in a 2022 plus world?
We've got a lot of different content strategy right now. So we do have an in-house podcast called Going Direct that I host with Scott Prusha, who's my office mate. So far, I think we've got like 38 episodes. Obviously, it started before I was here. But we interview some professional athletes. We interview some of the like product developers here at Panini. So we get that out. I'm also producing a lot of our kind of high-end video content for Panini Authentic to celebrate our exclusive deals with different athletes. We just did one for David Beckham. I had a chance to do one for the release of UFC Prism, which what I've always wanted to do was to apply super high production value to the hobby, even when I was just doing this on my own. So now I'm in a position where, we obviously have a bigger budget than I did when I was on my own. And we've got a great product and a lot of needs and a lot of athletes that we have deals with. So, I'm looking forward to shooting my first spot with LUKA. Hopefully, we could maybe premiere it on your show. But yeah,
LUKA Nation, you heard it here first. LUKA Nation, that's what we call it. The whole nation is named after that dude, basically. So that would be awesome.
Seems appropriate. So
I'm speechless.
Well, you'll have to hold me to that because I'm just trying to make the spot happen. So we've got podcast. We've got lots of.
He's gonna message you every day.
Your word is bond.
When's LUKA coming on? When's LUKA coming on?
I mean, you got awesome video proof of me saying it. So the podcast, lots of other production. We have a couple production companies we work with. So we've got shooters all over the country filming stuff. We have a series called Road to the Rated Rookie, which is super, super cool docu-series going on, which you can find on the Panini YouTube channel as well. So Andrew, to your question, man, we got a lot going on, and it's everything from me filming some stuff on my phone to, a 5-person crew shooting something that's really nice.
LUKA's a huge guy. Cage is a lifelong collector. I would say I came into this more as a buy raw grade flip type of guy. And I think we both speak to different audiences, and that's why we've had success. But I mean, Cage must have said this 50 times how much LUKA kind of reinvigorated the market, right? When LUKA in 2018, it wasn't Giannis, even though Giannis, in my opinion, is the best player in the league right now. It was LUKA in 2018 that kind of was the come up of cards and excitement and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe the question isn't why is that? What is it that LUKA has that makes him so endearing to collect?
I'll give you my opinion on this. And we're in Dallas, so LUKA is a really big deal around here. I've never lived in a city that had a professional basketball team, except for when I lived in LA, but I don't count that because it's not a sports city. But so LUKA, if you've ever watched him, I'm sure you guys have, he has this playful spirit around him that's like he's a kid on a playground playing with his buddies, and he always looks like he's having fun. Yep. And the fact that he's able to deliver the way he does, and he makes like every aspect of the Mavericks better. So I just think he's one of the most fun guys to watch in the league. And he's a young guy, and he came in at 19 or whatever. I just think he has a weird it factor, and I know that's such a cop out to say that, but it truly is, because I don't know how to describe it other than the joy that he brings on court and how good he actually is. Just marrying the two of them is something to watch.
He's hyper competitive too, which people don't realize. He's one of the most competitive, nice guys I've ever seen, right? Like, I think, what was it? I think they were playing the Celtics, and it was the night where they retired Garnett's jersey and Ray Allen. And he came down, made a 3, and he like gave Kevin Garnett a stare, And I'm like, this is like this young guy he looks like, I agree. He's having fun, LUKA magic, but then he's also got this hyper competitive side, which is just incredible. I'm so excited for the Jazz Mavs series.
It's an effortless 30-point triple double, but I think what really does it is the timing. I mean, he's great, and obviously that matters, but that time right before Zion and Zion's cards came out, and slightly after Luka's cards came out, that was when the influx came. That was when this wave, this tidal wave of new blood came into the hobby.
That's true.
And Luka's cards were the ones that they were looking for, and then it bled into Zion's cards as well, as you saw, Prism Draft start to take off, and then the Prism card, you see the amount that are graded and that kind of stuff. But Luka was, the release had already happened before the tidal wave, so people were kind of going back and chasing Luka, and people were making money on Luka. So he holds a special place because I can tell you, I remember buying Luka's base cards for less than $10 raw and grading them, and I remember selling PSA 10s for $65. You know what I mean? After grading them myself. So, and that was like, I was making, 5x on my money, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing on earth. Meanwhile, I look back and I'm like, should have not sold it, but so that's a part of, I think, what is, because LUKA is almost the poster child for the cycle.
Yeah, he was the hood ornament of that hobby drive right into the pandemic where everything just got nuts. But yeah, I think you're right. And timing, as I say, is everything.
That's right.
If we rebrand Cage, that should be the name of our show.
What?
Should have not sold.
Should have not sold. That
NFTs, cards.
Some I should have sold. Some I shouldn't have sold. Some I should have sold early.
Net. If you didn't sell anything, you just bought, I think you'd be up, even on the ones that you should.
The problem is I wouldn't have had the money to buy it if I hadn't sold the thing before it.
We need to have unlimited money, like the guy who bought the LUKA Logoman, right? That was the big. That was the biggest modern sale. Is that still
4.5? Right.
4.5. The Logoman 2. I met his son, Nick Fiorella. Did I say that right?
I think that's right.
16-year-old kid. I met him at Culture Collision. Has a case of like 500,000 in cards. It's insane. We actually had a big argument about LUKA.
Really? Isn't his name Jack? Jack is an impressive young man. Yeah, he's a savvy little guy.
So Jeff, I'm curious. What's at Panini? Do you guys talk or understand the speculation that goes on with cards, right? Like, you're a manufacturer. At the end of the day, you put out a product. You just want to put out the best product you can in a timely manner. But there's speculation that comes with it, right? There's people that, there's retail. They want to go to the store, get the product, and then break it or resell it. How do you guys think about that? Is it like not my problem? Is it we got to be very careful with this? Hey, people are spending big money on it. I'm curious how you guys think about that.
My observation would be that the secondary market isn't of big concern. Like, it's something that will be topic of conversation, but it's not something that they focus on around here. Like, they're really focused on putting out the best product, and maybe some of that would go into what was well received. So in that case, maybe secondary market played into some of what we're doing, but these guys are focused. Like all the teams that I'm in touch with for whatever reason here at Panini, they're all extremely focused, busy guys that are trying to honestly put out the best product possible.
You're very close to the camera, Cage. I think Jeff has rivals you for best hair in the hobby. If that's what you're trying to do here, you still have amazing hair.
I feel bad for you, man. Jeff's got good hair. I got good hair, and
I got terrible hair.
Yours. So I got to call bullshit on Jeff because obviously Panini does pay attention to this stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't be putting out as many Kabooms in the products now as they were. That was one of those things that it kind of came out and everybody loves it. So now let's put it in. Let's make sure we got Kabooms in there. And when they try something new like a Color Blast,
Cage hates Kaboom.
I guarantee.
Why?
I guarantee that like Color Blast now are going to be, they how did this fall? Like, they have to pay attention to it because if it sucked and people didn't buy it, they wouldn't put it in the product, right? And they obviously watch how Color Blast cards sell in sports products because then they say, all right, the Color Blast is what we're going to put in the UFC product, what we're going to put in the WWE product, because that is the chase. That's become something that was successful in the other products that we put out. So the secondary market, definitely, I mean, not the tail wagging the dog, but, you know, you have to pay attention to that stuff. You don't want to put out a product no one wants.
I agree. And I think that's what I meant by they're paying attention to how popularity goes as far as like how well different products are received. I don't think they're as led by, you know, monetary marks.
I get that.
But,
so secondary,
but yeah, they're definitely, if something's super popular and it's getting a lot of love on social media, certainly the marketing department pays attention. But yeah, it's going to come up with the other.
I'll tell you, Jeff, and you can tell me what you thought. I mean, you're 3 months in, so you don't have to answer for what's being produced in the whole deal. But Andrew throws out a lead balloon of, you know, I don't like Kaboom, right? And it's sort of true. What I don't like about Kabooms and Color Blast Color Blast the same. Look up a lead balloon, man. So Color Blast to the same degrees. I don't like that they are not numbered, right? Because what happens with that is people assume that they are rarer than they are, right? And in prior years, they probably were a little more rare, right? Because production numbers were not what they were. To say something's an SSP or a case hit or something like that, you wind up with a lot of the same type of like John Cena sells for 11,000, then 7,000, then 3,000, then 1,000 because people just don't know. Whereas a blue parallel of John Cena is probably not going to fluctuate as much because everybody knows it's numbered out of 199. I wouldn't say I hate Kabooms per se, but I don't, you know, like I would love to know what the numbers are on them. It's part of the reason why I like digital. When you did the Color Blast for digital on Panini Basketball, like I knew that there were only 62, you know, Lamelos.
Right.
There were only 64 Giannis's. You know, there were only 60-something Ja Morants. And that will be forever what there are. I assume there's probably more physical copies than that, but I don't know. That makes it tough. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I like Scoring Kings, and they're not numbered. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's, you know, I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth here.
I totally agree. The collector in me wishes all of those SSP cards were numbered. Yes. In fact, I've gotten to the point where 2018, I was buying every LUKA Kaboom I could get my hands on. And a buddy of mine was doing the same. We were kind of competing with each other, and we were trying to figure out what the total print run was based on how many we had and how many we knew other people were holding. And it would have made things way easier if there were, you know, serial numbers on those. So I totally relate. I don't think you should let that deter you from enjoying Kabooms or Color Blast. If you had to choose one of those over the other, which would you go with?
I like the older Kabooms.
Okay.
Like I like when they were in Innovation, when they were in the other sets. I actually like the cartoon version of the Kabooms. I do. I think those are cool. Like the different art on them. And you know, it was just kind of one version, right? I mean, a weird way of taking this is I like the older Kabooms and I like the Obsidian Color Blast that have the black background. They're pretty cool looking also, just like a different variant of it. I like, listen, it's smart to put an insert like that out because it plays on what everybody's looking for, right? Everybody's looking for, you know, the new shiny, colorful thing, right? I mean, what Prism is known for, it's shiny, it's silver, it's refractor, and it's colors, right? You know, people don't even want the autographs out of Prism, right? You open a box
or the mem cards. Yeah,
you know, people don't want that. It's like, okay, autograph, great. What is the parallel? What is, like, give me the gold, give me the parallel. So
absolutely.
You know, Color Blast and Kabooms, they have all of that. They have the shiny, they have the refractor type, you know, material, and they have all of the colors involved in it. So it's a smart, you know, thing to do because it's what people want.
Real quick, I want to ask you about Drake and Flawless because I think that was probably super exciting for you guys.
You mean our newest marketing hire, Drake?
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible, right? And the collab between that. And by the way, tonight, Cage is going to yell at me for cursing. P. Ryan, that was last night. We're airing this on Wednesday. P. Ryan and Fuck Jerry are doing a Flawless break too. So
that's big. Oh, I didn't. You know, I'd heard on your last episode you had mentioned that, and I didn't realize what product they were breaking. But that can't say that surprises me. What surprises me is that they're able to find some, because it's hard to find unopened flawless at this point in time.
I mean, I know of a couple of them that are out there, but they may or may not be filled with G.I. Joe cards. Maybe.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, Drake opening. G.I. Joe.
That's a funny gag.
Let's start with that. What was the vibe like at Panini when you guys found out about that? I mean, that's like, Drake has what, 100 million followers, mainstream.
I think 107 million, and it was crazy. I do a lot of our social media, so right. I got a text message. It was Friday night. I was going to dinner with my wife and got a text message, and it just had a shot from Drake's Instagram account with a stack of like 15 flawless briefcases, and I'm thinking, audience people, I'm thinking, I'm the marketing guy. Like, I'm dreaming of being able to get our product in front of 1 million people on Instagram with one post. It would take me a lifetime to get our post in front of 1 million people on Instagram. So I'm thinking, this is amazing. I hope, I hope this is friendly discourse. Who knows? It could go horribly wrong. It could go right, but he seemed to genuinely be having fun. He treats it like I treat it, on a much, much smaller scale. It's a treasure hunt. There's always a couple of cards I'm really hoping for and thinking maybe my 2 boxes I buy, I'll hit the LUKA Gold Prism. But it's fun, man. It's exciting. And frankly, if I had the sort of money that Drake does, I'd probably be doing the same exact thing.
So here's how I vision it, right? So, okay, they're in the Panini offices and they find out that Drake is breaking flawless. I'm imagining sort of like, a telephone tree. Corporations have that. Like, okay, there's an emergency. You have to call this person, a group text. And it's like, okay. So he's looking for the triple LeBron logo. Which distributor did we send that to? We know which one. We know which boxes are loaded. Where did we send it? Did we send that one to Pull Wax? Who did we send it to? Let's tell Drake. Make sure Drake goes to, because I'm that guy. I'm that cynic. I'm sure that's not what happened, but that's my brain. That's right.
I know, and that is the and I love a good conspiracy theory. I love that. I can tell you without a doubt, we do not know which card is going to which distributor. That is. If I wanted anything in 3 months,
another call. Hey, Backyard Breaks, how you doing? No, they're saying they didn't send you the gold Trevor Lawrence Kaboom on purpose. You guys aren't special.
Whoops.
Oh, sorry. I'm back, guys.
So it was wild, and
you're a nut job.
I reposted that. Obviously, I shared it. And at that point, we didn't even know what was going on. We saw all this product. We didn't know what he was looking for, what he was doing, but it came to our attention that he was looking for the triple LeBron. No surprise there. And so, we had a little like conversation via DM. He was asking us, like, he literally said something like, "Can you just give me the card?" Of course we can't. He was joking around.
Well, you probably can. He's like, because it never actually made its way into the product. So sure, we have it. There you go.
And he was essentially just trying to find more product, and it's dried up, as you can imagine. So.
I have
Jeff, drop a bomb right now. Tell him, little does he know, it's a redemption. Just drop the bomb. Just drop the mic.
There are no redemptions in Flop. I can assure you that's not
that one. Might be.
That's nice. I like that. Is it 3 LeBron patches? So I have like this very blind hatred for LeBron. So anything I see, I kind of like filter it out. Is it 3 of his jerseys? 3 Logomans from LeBron?
It's pretty dope. It's 3 different Logoman from 3 different teams.
Wow. Cavs and Lakers. Wow. That is kind of cool.
Good job,
it's an epic card.
Good
and
job.
It hasn't been pulled?
He got the 3 teams.
Not to our knowledge. I mean, there's always the chance that it could have been pulled by some whale and they aren't on Instagram. They don't care, who knows. But I think there's a pretty good chance it hasn't been pulled since it hasn't surfaced, and it's such an incredibly high profile card. That's not like a box somebody buys just stumbling through Target one day.
Yeah.
That's
this
something
is nice.
for real collector, somebody serious about the hobby buy.
This looks like poker chips. I'm gonna get it for my kids. Remember those little cases of poker chips?
Yeah.
Everyone used to buy
Augustus Gloops, he pulls the golden ticket back to your movie. You find out about it. The news has it. I mean, if somebody pulls this card, they know Drake wants it. They know not only is he going to probably offer a big money for it, but maybe they get to have champagne with Champagne Poppy when they sell it. Maybe it's an in-person deal. I mean, it's one of those ones that some of these they stay hidden. You don't know about them. This card, I think it would be very difficult for somebody to pull that and keep it hidden.
So if someone just pulled a Lamelo Logoman,
yep.
Hypothetically, someone pulls an Anthony Edwards Logoman. 2-part question: who has a better career? And feet to your fire, Jeff. Who has a better career, Edwards or Lamelo? And what sells for more, Edwards Logoman or Lamelo Logoman?
Currently, I think your Lamelo probably goes a little bit higher. I if I had to put money on one of their careers, I would go on Anthony Edwards. I'm a big fan of his. I love his persona. He's amazing on court. I think he's got a little bit more in the tank than Lamelo, but that's just my hot take.
Cage, I think you'd agree. Explain this to me and explain this to the audience, right? Because I think if you polled people, they would say the same thing that Jeff just said. Lamelo will sell for more. Edwards will have a better career. But yet, how does that make sense? Explain, for our audience, add a little bit of value.
I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? Tell me why, and I mean, the Hornets.
Edwards just had a 49-point game.
Yeah,
and he's the 7th seed in the playoffs.
A lot of people have great ends to the season. It's fool's gold at the end of the year. We'll see what he does in the playoffs. But
not LeBron.
Minnesota's difficult. Minnesota's very tough. Right. So, I mean, the Hornets, they're not a great market team, but, they are young, up and coming, exciting, a lot of names on the team. People seem to, enjoy it. It's also an East Coast team. So they get a little more, televised. They get a little more, airwaves. They got Jordan, as a part owner of the team. So there's a lot of things going for the Hornets. Andrew, I think, what is not equal about it is that the Timberwolves is where cardboard relevance goes to die. Right. So they have good players. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns is immensely talented. You know what I mean? He's an interesting character. Anthony Edwards is an interesting character, but nobody sees their games unless it's a real diehard looking for that game, watching the game like you. Edwards, what's funny about it is he's an awesome personality, but you also have to seek that out. He's quiet on the court. Right? It's a quiet 49 points, right? It's not a flamboyant jaw-like performance from him. Not yet. And maybe that changes as he comes into his own, as he ages a little bit. But there are a lot of reasons why his prices have been held back. Minnesota, number one, his kind of, lack of flair.
LaMelo does like a under the legs alley-oop as it, and it's all over social media. I'm like, dude, that's a pretty easy thing to do. Like, I think anybody could do an under the legs.
Yeah, but he does it, and you also
has flair. He has a grill,
so he has flair. But in addition to that, he has. We talk about the cycle of the hobby, right? You don't just have to be talented; you also have to be something that there's demand for. And when there's demand for it and people buy it, the people who own it also continue to foster the demand. It's a cycle. So the reason you're seeing more LaMelo content out there is because people have bought LaMelo, because they want to continue LaMelo and his weird alley-oops, which you say is not that great. And you're right. It's not that, anyone could do that. Anthony Edwards could do it. And maybe Anthony Edwards is having 49-point games. He is. But are people sharing it? No, because they haven't bought in. Right, it's
like the Facebook algorithm that shows you more of what you look for. It's like Jeff. We were talking a little bit behind the scenes. I was like, "Oh, you bought a lazy lion," and you're like, "Well, now that I have stake in the game, that's how I get stake in the game by invest." How has that been? Your buy into the NFT community. Have you enjoyed it? Are you like, this is chaos?
It's been fun.
Shout out to Jack Willis, by the way. He's on our team. Huge lazy lion holder. Loves it.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah, multiple.
So
I'll put you guys in touch.
I will say this about the NFT community. They are very warm and welcoming to new entrants, which I feel like the hobby is, but there is definitely a contingent that doesn't want anyone new in the hobby. You guys all know those people that it's their hobby and no one else's. I haven't experienced that with the NFT community, but I'm really not that active in it. So it's all kind of new. But earlier we were talking about that I bought my first non-sports NFT recently because I wanted to see what it was all about. And I'm really interested in smart contracts and what goes along with that. And I really think there's a huge future involving smart contracts with NFTs. So it was interesting, so far it's been a great experience. I haven't been privy to any cool exclusive deals because I own this NFT, but down the road, they're supposed to be airdropping people additional NFTs. So we'll see how that goes.
I was going to give you guys kudos because one of the things you did really well was anyone who attended Mint got a free white sparkle card. And I think it was Manny's wife, Callie. She got a Tua, right? 2 out of 8 cage.
Yep.
Nice.
And think about that. That is a smart contract because you are present at an event. You could literally open your phone and you get airdropped a Panini digital card.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And you could do so much with that. You could, let's say you go to, LUKA's a big, LUKA signed a deal with Panini, right? Exclusive rights. I mean, imagine that. You do a deal with the Mavs where, you randomly pick 1,000 fans who attend the game, this playoff game versus the Jazz, where the Jazz are going to get smoked. And they get, if they have the Panini Direct app, they get a limited edition LUKA card.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
Just for being at the game.
Sure.
Because
I love that. I love that. It's whether it's scanning your ticket and you're getting that or however it is, like there's a lot of cool things you can do with that. Did you guys happen to see the LUKA NFT sale last week?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. But what do you guys think about? So there was Andrew,
the blockchain 1-of-1 with a companion physical card. It sold for $1 million, if I'm not, or
100,000.
100,000.
It was 100,000.
100,000. It was a Logoman blockchain and the digital blockchain. 100,000. My bad. I had an extra zero.
What do you guys think about pairing physical with digital? Does that make it more appealing, or do you care?
Right now, putting the word blockchain on the physical card actually takes away some of the value in what I've seen. Not for me, because I think that's the future. But I mean, Golden sold recently the Edwards Lamelo blockchain dual Logoman 1-of-1 rookie, which was a really cool looking card, and it sold for significantly less than what you would think a dual Edwards Lamelo would sell for. And it's because it wasn't out of a pack pull flawless. Right. It was a blockchain, and it has the chain on it, says blockchain. And right now, the hobby has not embraced the blockchain yet. Right? I think it's going to be another person from Panini. I tell this. There's an easy fix. There's an easy fix for this. It really is an easy fix. And I mean, I can't believe it hasn't been done. But if Panini would have just listened to me, when you did the color blasts, right? When you did the color blasts, right? Last year they were rewards, right? It had the Lamelo color blast. If you did all the other color blasts, when you did those and you had, Giannis, or you did Lamelo, right? Lamelo was the ultimate challenge for the color blast. And I think it was like 62 or however many of them there were, right?
For you guys out there listening, it's collect these certain cards and you get the ultimate card, which was a Lamelo.
Right. It was like a master challenge. But if Panini would have, in addition to dropping those 62 Color Blast digital numbered Color Blast into the wallets of the people who are on the digital app, if they would have also made a corresponding physical numbered Color Blast of Lamelo, even putting a blockchain on it to differentiate it from another Lamelo, you have the Kabooms, you didn't have a Color Blast, right? So if they would have done that, and the people who completed the challenge would have been, mailed that card like a redemption. The first one of those that popped up on eBay, you would have had thousands of people who were in the physical space run to digital and sign up, because now it's the only way to get a numbered Color Blast is through digital challenges. You would tenfold the amount of people who are on this because they want the physical, right? The physical companion to the digital would have done that. And you can still do this. I don't know why it wasn't done. He's taking notes. But
that's a great idea.
It's an idea that was shared with Panini last year.
But it's not just about sharing with Panini; it's about sharing with the right people. You know that.
But I mean, you can definitely do that. You can go back and do it. There's nothing stopping you guys from doing it, back and rewarding the OG 100 who are, the people who have been supporting, the whole, you could do it going forward and get people involved in buying the stuff now. The difficult part of it is, Jeff, perception is reality. I try to tell Andrew this all the time. And right now on the digital, what it looks like is the perception of Panini Digital is that they're just releasing more packs and selling more packs and getting people to just buy more packs and buy more packs. And, now there's just so many packs up there that don't sell out at a price point that doesn't make it's sort of Top Shot-y, like 70,000, what the hell are we going to do with those? So you have to zig a little bit, right? You have to turn. And the turn is, what is it that's going to bring the people who are physical fanboys into digital? And it's physical. You have to give them something physical. It's why V-Friends, right? We talked about this, why those cards sold for what they would sell for, even though most of the hobby didn't get behind the V-Friend NFT. All of a sudden, all right, well, the cardboard, now it's a tangible asset. Now it's a card. I get it now, And if you were able to tie that, I think it would probably open the door to gateway, man. People don't want to jump into digital, but if there's a way to get physical by doing digital, and then as they're doing digital, they realize, okay, this still has the same slot machine mentality that opening a box of cards does. I'm not saying they got to go to the Dunk and, the Blitz. They don't have to go that far. But Panini Digital, it's like opening a pack of cards. And it's got, Jeff, it's got a lot of things going for it, right? You can get a Cade Cunningham Prism rookie right now. You can get that on digital. You can't get it in real life.
Right.
So, there's definitely a lot of fun stuff there.
You guys
I'm gonna stop preaching.
Well, no, this is good.
You aren't. No, not at all.
There's two categories of people out there, right? So, there's more than that. But, Kate, all of these ideas have come because you've kind of been in it for the last year. You've been in it with Top Shot. You've been in it with Panini Direct. You've been in it with NFTs. You kind of, and one of the benefits we have, we create these Instagram groups or communities where, if you want to talk MLB, we'll talk MLB. If you want to talk Top Shot, we'll talk Top Shot. NFTs, Panini Direct, where we have these little focus groups. So we're able to see right from people who use the product what they say. And we live in such a world where there's so much noise, but actually the information you need is right in front of you if you're just kind of willing to listen. And it's with the true fans. When we first started the show, Cage and I were like, let's just find 1,000 true fans that really like what we do. Same way here. If you listen to your true fans, they'll tell you exactly what you need, whether that's Mount Rushmore that has every answer ever, or Spinatron who has very long, I think it's actually Spinatron, but I call him Spinatron.
That's who you listen to.
He has write-ups that are very long that are probably more for blog form, but they are very informative. And so we're fortunate. Cage is brilliant, but I get a lot of my information and learnings from our community.
So there you go. We brought you on. We didn't ask you any questions. We just told you what to do.
And
we made you late for dinner.
One thing that kind of bothers me, and it's inevitable with every new kind of shift in the game, but I feel like a lot of the physical card collectors don't like NFTs because they feel like the NFT group or side of things is trying to take everyone from physical there. Whereas I don't understand why they couldn't coexist. And I think they should coexist. At least I hope physical cards never go away because that will always be where my heart lies. But I think we can play nicely both sides, and that you can kind of share a market space. But I love getting feedback from both sides on how we can improve both sides.
Stamps, wine, coins. This stuff doesn't go away. It just actually builds the collector base, right? It all builds on top of each other. It's not like because cards came around, no one collects wine. I would actually argue people who've made money on cards. Now Jesse Craig at PWCC, he has a wine club, right?
Right.
And some of the biggest athletes in the world, like Kevin Love and Channing Frye, who are wine collectors, are getting into cards. So this stuff complements each other. It doesn't hurt each other. It's a very loud minority that kind of criticize. It's actually not the general public. it's just because they're so loud and aggressive and they can create unlimited amounts of accounts. It just feels like you're being overwhelmed. But if you put internet's not real, by the way, guys. If you guys don't know this, internet criticism not real. No one will cancel you. Do not be scared.
He's gonna get
Advice
canceled
there.
Jeff, can I ask not a tough question. Let me word it this way.
Yeah.
When I got into the hobby, 2019, right at the end, like officially into the hobby.
Am I going to need the Kleenex for this one?
I bought Zion Prism cards. My hurrah back into the hobby. I just bought a lot of Zion Prism. I was like, I watched this guy Duke. Yeah, he's been injured with a meniscus, but I know he's going to come and tear the league up. I'm going to buy the Prism card. But this was December, right? This was right around Christmas break when, we're in the thick of NBA season. But I could get his Prism card, his go-to card, in the middle of the season. Educate us as to, like, here we are, season's over, Cade Cunningham not going to make the playoffs. But we can't even buy his Prism card. We have to buy his Prism draft card, which sucks because it's probably, I'm going to buy it for $25 and it's going to be $5 next year. It's going to leave a bad taste in my mouth. How do I think about that and maybe share why that works with Panini?
So I guess I'm missing the question.
There was no question there. The question is basically, how are we able? Why can't we buy cards the way we were able to? What's going on with the production slowdown? Is it a printing issue? Is it just overall, global economics? Is it something that we're hoping will fix soon? Why is it that it used to be you could buy these cards before season? Now
I wanted to ask it informationally, not like, hey Jeff, why did you do this to us?
Right.
Because you've been there for 3 months.
It's me personally. That's that. First off, let's understand that.
Just Walt.
I came on board, everything slowed down, and now we've got a backlog. It's the same reason I can't get the furniture we've ordered for our living room. It's supply chain issues. Like, everybody is dealing with it, and I wish they weren't. I think things are getting better, but that's definitely been a drag on, the backlog that we're seeing. So, other than that, trust me, Panini would love nothing more than be able to give you Prism basketball and Prism football right now. Those are obviously big money makers for the company. So it's an issue that's out of our hands, and I don't know all the ins and outs of that. Again, I'm the new guy, so I'm speaking out of school right now. But it's the same reason everybody's having problems with inventory.
I've experienced it today buying a used car that literally costs more than what a new car cost 3 years ago. And they say same stuff. It's like a chip shortage. All of this stuff in here is chips and they can't, there's a supply chain issue. And so it consumer frustrating, business owner makes sense. Right. So it's kind of balancing.
I wear both of those hats too. I'm so ready for Prism basketball, especially now that I'm getting to have some of the product prior to it being released. We open it, they do QC boxes, and I open it because I'm writing blogs about it, far in advance. So I can't wait to get some.
I have one more question, and then Cage, if you have anything. So you walk the halls. I'm sure you guys have like different Panini cards on the walls.
Sure.
Some of my favorite cards that aren't the most valuable actually, but are Panini stickers of soccer players from like the 80s and 90s. I love those cards, whether that's like Roberto Baggio. I think Zidane has a sticker. I'm not sure, but like just like soccer stickers, because in Europe they collect stickers. Actually, it's really interesting.
Huge in Europe, yes.
Huge. What is a card that, forget the value, right? Just like from a collector standpoint, that you maybe bumped into, you saw on the wall, you guys talk about, that most of the public doesn't know about, that you just really like? That's a cool card.
Oh man.
Because Panini goes way back.
Yeah, and this doesn't answer your question, but I would love to just chat about this a little bit. Is in Europe, they don't necessarily collect sports cards the way we do. They're all about sticker albums, and they're all about completing sets and completing the album, which I think is something really interesting with the World Cup coming up. Gosh, Andrew, I don't have a really good answer for your question because we don't have a ton of. We have big blown up images.
Just go with like
Ali.
Ali had Paninis in the 60s. Just go with one of like Panini Calciatore, 64 of Cassius Clay. Go with that. Go with the GOAT. Go with an old 60-year-old
Sure. I mean, I
product.
love there's some old like Maradona cards that I love that I'm personally trying to find on eBay. Those are the sort of cards, and this is what I love about them is you just want to be able to have one. You don't care about it being, a mint or a PSA 9 or PSA 10. Like you would just like to own a copy, and that's kind of the way I collect. I love the rare stuff that you're just excited that you have a copy of it in your collection. So, let's see, Maradona, old Cassius Clay cards. I used to collect a ton of vintage boxing, so I'm happy you brought that up, Cage, because the old Ali cards were really fun. There's a few different manufacturers outside of Panini that have his 60s cards, but yeah, they're really interesting. And seeing what the 86 Tyson cards are doing, which are also Panini. There's a British version and an Italian version.
Yep.
They're crazy. They're crazy expensive.
Give me a 48. Give me a 48 leaf, Tony. Give me a Graziano 48 leaf for boxing, and I'll take that over Tyson any day.
Just
for the history of it. No, there's only like 50 or 60 of them in existence. So
they got super short printed. Yeah,
I'd love to own one. I'd love to own one, but one day it's on.
One of the best gifts Cage ever gave me was with no monetary value, nothing. He said, "Go watch Ali Frazier fights." So all 3 fights are on YouTube. People don't realize it was like.
I have a gift for you,
such
dude,
a joy
to celebrate your Florida. You want to see it? It's a perfect segue. Give me a sec. Got a gift.
All right, we'll go to the basement. I'll ask you. I have one more question.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to run your business, right? Everybody. It's hilarious. Whoa!
Look at that.
Is that a type 1? Cage is really getting into type. Is that Frazier knocking out Ali?
Cool.
Yeah, it's Frazier. Frazier taking Ali
Conor
down.
McGregoring Ali's leg.
That is amazing.
That's it.
What's the grade on this? Is that
no? They don't grade these. They just authentic. But that's
okay. Got it.
This was the battle of the century. Ali Frazier.
How strong Frazier is.
This is from I think it was 1973. I think. Pretty cool, right? And that's Andrew. That's the style, man. Get in, get up, get inside. Don't give him space. Don't let him use his reach. Be like a bull in there.
Well,
so there you go. That's
I
what we talked about.
was taking some boxing, sparring, having fun with it, and there was a bigger guy, and I was like, "Man, I can't get in there. Every time I get in there, he just jabs me. I'm like, this is so frustrating."
Just get inside.
And Cage was like, "Go watch that fight."
Hey, I saw you posted a fight that you had.
He did. He was
fighting. Great. I saw that. I was like, that's so cool that Andrew's doing that.
I
love watching boxing. I'm not a fighter, but I love watching it. I'm a big UFC fan as well, so I really enjoyed that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about UFC actually, because the more I learn about it, but it was the most fun I've had in a long time was boxing. It teaches you a lot about yourself, teaches you about your fears, and you're more afraid to get hit than getting hit actually hurts. It's this really interesting thing. It kind of reminds me of entrepreneurship. You're more afraid of jumping in and feel the fear of failure hurts more than the failure itself.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
Mike Tyson. That's a Tyson quote.
I know, but it's.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? It's exactly the same. You say the fear of getting hit is worse than actually getting hit. It's exactly the same thing, man. People don't want to get in the ring. You're making the entrepreneur thing. I mean, I get it. Yeah, you understand. People are afraid of taking that punch. They have a plan. Entrepreneurs.
But it actually doesn't hurt that bad, which is the crazy part. And it shows you that you're stronger than you are. UFC. How has that been, right? UFC had the biggest year it's ever had. People don't even realize, right? McGregor, one of the world's most popular athletes. The more I learn about McGregor, I'm like, this guy's going to be he's going to be as respected as some of the greats of the greats. And his story's incredible. What's that partnership been like for Panini? And we'll wrap up with here because I want to let you go. UFC Panini. Have you had a chance to meet some of the athletes? Is there something kind of that we should be excited about in the future?
So this was one of the biggest selling points for me coming to Panini is knowing that they have a partnership with UFC. I've been a UFC fan for a long time. And we work very closely with UFC. We've got a great relationship with them. They're wonderful people. We have a weekly call and with their marketing department, and we go through a strategy. It's amazing. I spent like an entire day going through the fight library. The UFC Fight Pass is one of the membership deals they have where you can go back and watch all of the old fights. And so I went there and pulled footage for an entire day for a promo video to release to promote Prism UFC, the latest 2022. It's been awesome. I've only met one fighter, Matt Danger Schnell, who is he's got a fight coming up. I want to say at 274, whichever one is in Phoenix. And he's a huge card guy. So that was a blast. We had him on our podcast. He came in and broke some product with us and talked about his experience in the UFC. So that's amazing. That is a part of this whole dream come true job. Is I'm really excited. We have International Fight Week coming up over 4th of July. And I'm likely going to Vegas for that because we're going to have a booth.
That's awesome.
Man, that relationship has been really cool. And that I love the UFC because I really respect their marketing. I think Dana White is a super savvy guy. And just from a marketing standpoint, I learn a lot just by seeing how they do their content. So it's been wonderful. And I don't know if I answered your question, Andrew, but it's been a great experience with UFC so far.
You could tell at Mint Collective, Lawrence Epstein, the COO, was very complimentary of the relationship they have with Panini, both from a digital side and from a tangible physical asset as well. You could tell that they're bought in as a partner. They see the value to it. And it's one of those deals where the money goes back to the fighters as well. So,
right.
It works all around. It's a good thing all around. It's kind of the future of sports money now. And if I can give you advice on that, lean on their library, right? Because right now the headliners for the UFC are not what I would call the greatest marquee names. They have some great guys. You had Chimaev's, rookie in your last one.
Yep.
There are some
Hilarious.
other, younger guys.
Them.
But they have this, but you don't have the Lesnar that they had, 10 years ago. They don't have. I mean, John Jones is still on the roster. I think, but they don't have GSP. They don't have BJ Penn. They don't have, Anderson Silva, even Connor, Ronda. But they had them, right? And they still have the licenses to all of those fights. They're in the and go back even further. People don't realize Strikeforce is owned by them, which means you have Fedor Emelianenko, who you may not even know who that is, but you have.
I used to fight in shoes on. I never understood it.
So you have Fedor stuff, who doesn't have a lot of cards. You have the old Pride stuff, right? So you got old Shogun, who you got Rampage Jackson, and just crazy Sakuraba. I mean, you have just like insane stuff that you can do. We're talking about. I mean, the UFC goes back to 1993. So, there's definitely enough footage out there. You talk about SEG era stuff where, you could do some really good stuff in some of the products. So don't forget the history.
And I totally agree. That's one of the tricky things about UFC is, you change belts so often. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunately somebody can have like a meteoric rise and then they lose one fight and all of a sudden you don't have a lot of people talking about them anymore. It's one of those sports where you kind of have a lot of turnover. But to your point, Cage, I would love to get us into more like legend sort of product with UFC. I think there's a lot of room for that.
Yeah, I mean, even if you mix it in, right? Hulk Hogan, the autos are one of the best, if not the best looking card in the Prism release that just came out last week. And, that's a nod to the old and the new, you know what I mean? So even though he's not on the roster currently, you can mix that. You could have Chimaev, you could have, the guys who are there now and mix in, a card, an auto, a color blast of somebody who, hasn't fought for a while. You know what I mean? So Randy Couture's, I mean, just this, the names. Anyway, that's what I would do. I'm not in charge, but I wish I was.
After this call, this podcast turned into basically a consultant. I mean, They're gonna hire you.
That's what we do, dude. And listen,
we're gonna have to put you on retainer, Cage.
Listen. If I had $1 for everybody who told me that, I have a lot of dollars. But here's the thing, we love this stuff. I mean, that's why we love having you on. This is why, Andrew. It's just like we're chatting, right? We're passionate about this stuff, and we're thankful that you guys put these products out there. Let's get them out. Let's get them out faster. Let me go. I'll get a container ship. I'll get in the ocean. I'll bring some chromium cards back, and we can make Prism.
I just bought a
NFL draft
Prism
coming
trees.
up, right? NFL draft's coming up. We got to get NFL Prism before the draft of the next guys. Let's go.
I know. Well, I just want to say, like, first off, thanks for having me on. Thanks for thinking of me. But I really appreciate what you guys do for the hobby, and on behalf of Panini, we appreciate what you guys do for the hobby because I feel like your show is great. You're supporting the right people. You're covering the right topics, and you're keeping us honest. And that's what we need to happen.
You hear that, LUKA Nation? That's not just to Cage and I. That's to you guys. Because we've said this once. We've said this a million times. It's our audience. It's the people that support us. It's the people that leave comments on our YouTube show. It's the people that DM Cage and I. You guys know we don't charge you for our content. We never, ever, ever will. We really want to put out a good product for you guys. So please keep liking, keep subscribing, keep supporting, because that lets us get amazing guests like Jeff on. I don't know, women of the hobby. I mean, the guest list is incredible. And it's a testament to you guys. So thank you.
Like that smash button. Like that smash button.
Smash it like Chimaev would.
Smash. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for having me on, guys.